welcome to Axel's Garage. Well, the big dummy was coming home for like a week and a half for the twins' graduation and whatnot, so we said, shit, you know, it's been a while, it's been sitting out front, and it's been a while since I drove it, so I went over, started it up, because it has not stalled. It has not stalled since we disconnected the oil pressure sending switch. So we know that was our stalling issue, because that's wired in with the fuel pump. So we disconnected it, it hasn't stalled, we have a new one, haven't put that in yet, but that's a story for a different day. So I go out there, and the battery's dead, charge up the battery, start the truck up, let it warm up, and after about 10-15 minutes, it was a real hot day, but after about 10-15 minutes, it just shut off. Go to start it, and it's just lugging against the battery, almost like the battery's dead, or the timing is way advanced. I'm thinking battery's just not charged up yet, because it only ran for about 10 or 15 minutes. So I jump it again, start it up, let it run, again it dies after it gets good and hot. This happened 3 times before a light bulb went off in my head and said, it's probably not the battery issue. There's something going on. So we charged the battery overnight. We actually, the battery was struggling. Put it on the charger, took out the snap-on tester, tested it, and it failed the load test. It's an interstate battery. We brought it back to the mom and pop auto parts store because they're the only people that sell interstate, and they warranted the battery because it was a fairly new battery and it was failing under load on a load tester. So put a new battery in it, same thing, started it up, and after it warmed up and got to operating temperature, it would either shut off or continue to run. But if we manually shut the car off and tried to restart it, it was just lugging against the starter and the battery, almost like you had a weak battery, or timing like in an old car, you had a timing way too advanced. So I'm thinking, because it would die in the heat, what's the thing that dies when it gets hot? And that's usually the ignition control module, and that's what I ordered in. I'm also thinking that the ignition control module is gonna send spark at the right time when it's working right, so it's gonna run right, and that's what was happening. And I'm betting that once it got hot, the ignition control module is malfunctioning, it's not sending spark when it's supposed to be, so the timing is advanced. Not really, it's just sending the spark too early, hopefully. Because we have a spark tester on it, and we're getting a good spark. The timing is where it's supposed to be, so we're hoping the ignition control module, we are throwing apart at it, but we're doing it with an educated guess, because hot, who's there? Hot is when these things go. Well, you're supposed to turn on him. We have a visitor at Axel's Garage. Hey, what's going on?
How y'all doing?
Good. We're just making a video.
Oh, nice.
Frank, say hi to YouTube.
How y'all doing?
So, something we didn't tell you about was that Pearl is gone. Oh. So the white truck, Pearl,
yeah,
that's the truck's name is Pearl, goes to Black Frank.
This is true.
So Black Frank gets white Pearl.
This is true.
See,
I'm excited.
We've come full circle here.
Did you tell me about your new truck?
No, we haven't said anything about Barry White yet.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hey, what you guys working on?
Well, the dum-dum here, you know, hasn't been here, so I've been neglecting his truck, and his battery was dead, so we wound up, long story short, put a new battery in it, and it dies when it's hot. Only when it's hot. And if you shut it off when it's hot and try to start it, it feels like the timing is way too advanced and it won't even start. It's really fighting against the starter.
Gotcha.
Ignition module, I'm thinking, because usually they say if you test these, you got to test them like 3 or 4 or 5 times to get the internals hot, and then they fail. Yeah. Otherwise, if they're ice cold, they always pass. So we're gonna try it. It was only like
I just had the same
bucks.
Similar scenario with this truck. It's a different motor, but it's a Chevrolet.
Is it a TBI also?
It's a Vortec. It's a '98.
But it's still a TBI, right?
No, technically it's, well, it looks like it, but it's not. It's not the same throttle body, but it's a TBI basically. But it's a 5.0 Vortec stick shift, and yeah, same exact problem. I did plugs and wires. I did everything. I couldn't figure it out, and it was this damn sensor. So
there you go. So we're gonna try that, and we're gonna take you along for the ride. Yeah. All right, so I got the cap off. It turned out we couldn't figure out what size the module was, but it was 730 seconds. Was that it, right?
Yeah.
730 seconds. So now I undid the module. I probably should have unplugged the wires first, but I didn't. So you got two on the module. I'll pull them off. Get this vacuum on out of the way. Oh my God. All right. And then there's the back of the module there. Can you see this past my fat hands already? We'll unplug that one there. Shit, look at that. That's all rotted. Oh, man. Give me a little flathead screwdriver. All right, so the connector is stuck on it because it's all rusted. Okay, so this is the module, but the connector came apart, which is not good. Let's see if we can get the connector back in. Yeah, the connector's in, okay. See, that's what happens when you don't lube stuff up. Make it easier for the next guy. Oh, this hurts. Ow. I really need a big towel under my ass. Oh. Okay. It's high and it's got a long nose, so it's tough to get all the way back there. It's not like you're going from the side. All right. Oh. All right, Robbie, we got the box with the new one right there. If you can get that for me. All right, so here's the new one. Hopefully it's the right one. Delphi. With some schmutz that goes on the bottom. Clean the distributor housing surface where the module will be mounted. Apply a thin coat of the thermal grease to the module heatsink. Attach the module to the housing with the original screws and lock washers. Torque screws to 8 to 12 inch pounds. Get the old grease off. Put the new grease on. Give you so much. Okay. I guess they give you enough. Okay, so we got grease on the new module. You could see our old module contacts were pretty rusty. These don't look too bad, but these were really rusty. There's no reason for that to be that rusty. And there wasn't a great coat of grease on it. Okay. I'm putting a liberal amount of silicone grease. To hopefully seal out whatever moisture is getting in there.
Is it possible they've just gone bad?
Yeah, it's very possible it just went bad, but I'm a little concerned with why these contacts were so rusty. It could very possibly be that it was just a shitty module. I mean, that might be a GM number on it. I don't know. It's a replacement distributor. I don't know what brand was used, but if you remember when you first got the truck, you were driving. I mean, you probably only had it a month or two, and it just died on you. Completely died. Couldn't get it restarted, and we brought it over to Louis. It was like in the winter time. Yeah, so you only had it because we gave it to you for Christmas, so it was like January, cold, February, and we brought it over there, and he said the distributor was completely rotten, which is weird. But we know it was he was definitely rotten. He showed it to me, and put a new distributor in. And this is the module that was in the new distributor. Probably a Chinese distributor. Don't call me a racist. I'm just saying, it's probably a Chinese distributor. All right. So now I gotta finagle my body back over there again. Let's get this shit out of the way. I bought a Delphi because the price was right. That's the part number. Let's see. DS10059. This one, no, nothing even close. It's probably a GM number on this one. But anyway, doesn't matter. I'm going in. No, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to go in there without hurting myself. 'Cause it hurts. The radiator support has so many sharp edges on it that it tends to get you. All right, so you know what? Fighting this vacuum hose. Might as well just move it out of the way.
Do those clip on, or are they just in there really good?
What?
Those connectors.
They clip in. All right. Now we got that in. I'm gonna put my screws because these are really rusty too. Oh, that's way too much. I mean, it's very possible that it's moisture buildup from lack of use. That is a real possibility because this doesn't get regular use. So that is a real possibility, but who knows? It's a 7/32, probably, or 5.5 millimeter. If I had a nut driver, I would just use a nut driver, not a ratchet. I just don't have a nut driver that fits it, so you just snug. Nothing crazy tight. Because remember, you will be doing it with a nut driver normally. So just snug like that. Okay, so that's snug. Now what I could do is grab my wire connection. Get that one in. There's this one. And get this one in. They're both in nice. Okay. So now, let me put my cap back on. Right, cap only goes in one spot. I need those glasses, that's what I need.
What glasses?
Top focals.
Top focals?
Yeah. Because I'm trying to see.
What do they do?
And it's blurry. They have the bifocal part of the glass, the reading part of the glass, is on the top instead of the bottom. Because like right here, I have to look through the top part of my glasses, and it's blurry. Okay, so what did I disconnect? I disconnected my this, which is the vacuum. Bring that around. Plug that back in. There's our vacuum. Alright, I disconnected my coil connections, which is this. This one, which goes there. This one one's in, that one's in. Good. That doesn't go to anything. And my coil wire, what did I do with that? Here it is. Alright, so these. Like that. Wire. These wires were up here like that. This was not going to anything. Alright. We're good. Oh my God. That freaking hurts.
Put your foot down.
Oh. Maybe gym shorts and Crocs weren't the right attire for crawling back there. I mean, for such an easy thing. If I was doing this on Oscar, it'd be so easy. All right, start it up, Robbie. Let's let it run and warm up and get up to operating temperature. So we ran it, got it hot, turned it off, started it, turned it off, ran it, let it get hot, started, you know. It's up to operating temperature now. Seems to be starting every time. Let's see what happens now. That the camera's on, right? So, I'm satisfied and I'm convinced that it was the ignition control module. It makes sense because that's the part that goes when it's hot. And everybody says when you test them, you can't just test them once or twice. You got to test them 3, 4, 5 times. Let that module get hot. I don't know how to test it. They claim you could go to an auto parts store, one of the big box stores, and they'll test it. I don't know. Maybe they got a little contraption to test them. Either way, it worked for us. We do need to put in that oil pressure sender switch, which has something to do with the fuel pump. It seems to be running fine, you know, the way it is. So we are going to replace it so that the circuit is intact and everything is good. But I think he's good for the week that he's going to be home. He'll be able to tool around in his K5 or V1500, V10, K5, V10. I think it's actually a V, technically. I don't know. The big dummy's behind the camera, if you can't tell. I'm talking to him. Anyway, easy. I'll link everything we used in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.